All right. Really excited to be presenting today. We're group section 1-8. My name is Zac McMillan.
I'm Ryan Evelyn.
I'm James Peterson. I'm Ben Schneider.
And we are going to tell you a little bit about our SAnD project that we did for Big Fat Design. It's Ryan's dad's company.
Big Fat Design originally was founded in 1998 under a different name, but with some time, they merged with another company, rebranded, and started to grow bigger. And Robert, who's Ryan's father, originally started this because he was really tired and bored with his old job. So he bought a couple of printers and was like, you know what, we're just going to make this happen, going to start printing things. And it was super successful. And so they started to grow rapidly from there.
All right, the main problem that they're facing right now is that they don't have an automated system of record keeping and order tracking and order placement. So our project scope is in 3 areas. Customers will now be able to place orders online. The tickets will flow between different areas of the business, for example, between the manager, the design team, production team, in an automated fashion. And this will reduce the amount of tickets that are lost in transit. And so the tickets will not only be in physical form, but they'll be automated and in digital form. Concerning feasibility, the technical aspect, it'll be easy to use and intuitive. The economic feasibility you can see here. We have an amazing ROI of 1,000% and a break-even point at about 1 year. The cost of maintenance is very low. The development cost is not very high, and the training will be pretty simple. Concerning operational, all that will be needed to operate this is just a local server, and the scheduling, we'll go over that some more later, but it will, since the solution is mostly designed, it will be developed rather soon.
So the current system works primarily off of this. This is what we call a ticket, or Big Fat Design calls a ticket. If a customer was to walk in the door or contact Big Fat Design through email, one of the employees will grab this sheet, this form, and they'll fill in the information. The problem is there's quite a lot of information here, and usually within the scope of the business, they are moving quickly. And so they pretty much shorthand what they think the project might look like here, leaving out a lot of the important details and information that might need. Reason for this ticket and why we're creating the system is because oftentimes customer information and contact information and losing this ticket has been a common occurrence. And so by implementing like an electronic system that might be, this is what we're hoping might solve the lost ticket, lost information problem. Right now we can see that the current ordering system works like this. Order details are discussed with the customer and the employee. It can be a manager or a customer. The ticket is written up by the manager or the employee. This mockup created. The mockup is created. This mockup is a quick design. It's usually just like a Photoshop design of what the project might look like, whether it be a printed page, whether it be a sign they're trying to construct, or it be other small projects and designs there. They will send that mock-up to be approved by the customer. Once the customer approves that mock-up, then we'll send it to the product team. The product will be made. Production will then make the product and then fulfill that same order. And then the information that is collected in this whole process is only collected in the system when it enters QuickBooks, or when someone at the end of the month manually enters all customer information for that month. So this piece right here too is a huge headache for Big Fat Design. So the current system, like we said, very similar to the use case, works like this. Person contacts remotely, manager gets in contact. There's a loop as far as like discussing there, what are their possibilities. Then there's a ticket paper written form. The ticket in paper form that is written up. The loop going there as far as if they need to work out any kinks in the mock-up, and then all the way to the production and fulfillment to entering QuickBooks. This is a quick diagram of a little broken down a bit more. The full sequence diagram pretty much discusses what the customer will be giving to the employee and the manager, and how that interacts also with the designer and the production. Those, you can see there actually is no system in this sequence diagram. That's because there is no system like we're talking about. There is simply just at the end entering into a form of system, which is QuickBooks.
Exactly. So kind of carrying off what Ryan's saying, it works functionally well, but the problem is that there's no data that's being stored. Specifically for the customer side, the client, they can't make an order online. They have to come in the store. So just creating that order, that's the affected area. That's kind of the main issue with as far as what the client or the customer can do. There's no database that creates the ticket, that creates the order, that creates a mock-up, these different areas of how they flow. There's nothing online that's creating those. And then again, there's no automated process for our system actually storing the information about these orders. So kind of along with confirmation and fulfillment, these two flows, these processes that happen, there is no current automated system. And that's kind of where we wanted to make that system proposal. Professor Allen, we know how much you love history, and we want to use a little analogy here. George Washington crossing Delaware, he used some unconventional means in order to, get the victory. We wanted to do something similar, try and make it, propose the best solution possible, thinking outside the box. And as you can see, this is kind of the overall flow. We're going to break it down a little bit more, but this is the overall flow of how the system will work. And we broke it down to 3 parts, similar to the analysis: creation, confirmation, and fulfillment. We're going to start with this creating order. So the person, they have a choice. You can either access the order form online, or they can still walk into the store. And then what will happen is that they'll talk with the employee about the potential possibilities. So they can create that order again, either online or just in the store. The online will be a form that they fill out. And then once that order is created, that is actually sent to a manager, and that goes to the whole order confirmation process.
So the manager will receive all this information and either confirm or deny this order. And if they confirm it, they will also accept a quote. And if the customer accepts the quote, then a ticket is created and it will move forward. If the customer does not accept the quote, then it'll go back. There will be some potential changes that are made to the order with the customer, and then it'll go back to the manager, who will have to reconfirm and recreate a new quote until they either say yes or no, we're just done. So once they've accepted the quote, a ticket is created, and the ticket is sent to the graphic designer to be able to create a mock-up. And once that mock-up is created, it'll be sent to the customer. And if the customer is not satisfied with that mock-up, it'll go back to the designing team so they can redo it, retry. And if they do accept it, then it'll be sent off to production.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's sent to production, it's kind of nice. The system will create a new ticket with the mock-up. So this is a whole nother table in the database. And this is just for the production team to see, and they can see all the tickets that need to be fulfilled. So that correct mock-up version sent to them. Products are made, and when the order is fulfilled, the customer will get their order back. The system will automatically flag it so that that's done, store it to the database. So it's similar to the QuickBooks, but now it's automatic. And so that information will be saved.
This diagram is probably would be very important for implementation of the system. For that, we can see now that the customer has direct interaction with the system as well as with the manager. We weren't able to fit the whole thing on a single page, so we'll have to show it in 2 pieces. But I'll explain this first piece here. What we see is that the customer requests the get form from the website, and then the system will return that get form. And here they'll fill out within loops and within how many products they want and in what quantities from the system, and submit that initial order request. From there, the manager will have the option of approving it and giving the quote, or rejecting it and informing the customer. And this will happen as many times as necessary to get the customer and the business a workable order. And then from there, we can see that the system will then generate that ticket, and will work on the completion of the order. So the ticket is then sent to the ticket, which is automatically generated from the system, is then sent to the designer through the function submit mockup, and the will request mockup, and then the designer will send the submit mockup, which is what the customer will then see. That'll pass through the system, so each version is controlled and saved there within the system. And that'll happen as many times as needed for the customer to approve the mockup. Beyond that, we then see that once the mockup is approved, it's straight sent to production. Production receives it and then has the option of changing status as far as like starting production, not started, and stuff like that. So a customer has a lifetime view of where their order is at currently. And then once it is shipped out, then the final status change, which is confirmation of completion, will be sent to the system and the customer.
Perfect. Yep. And then this is just that mock-up.
This is a mock-up of how the website might look. This is particularly for the manager side, or the manager use case. We see that the manager will be able to see a hub of all the orders that are placed in what customer, and then by a drop-down button here, we'll be able to see the what items there are to be ordered and what are there to be completed. This way, the manager has the option of saying, "Hey, we don't have the materials, we don't have the ability to fulfill this order," and that will be the accept or the decline. So this here is the proposed database, and this pretty much shows the constrictions between the product and the order, and how a ticket is not made until that order is given approval by the manager. Beyond that, it's pretty self-explanatory. How do we have people, which are managers, design groups, and production groups that are all designed. This is mostly built so that we can do the analytics of the business, who does what and how that goes where.
Okay, concerning implementation, we suggest that BFD follow a combination between a phased and a parallel implementation. So we will keep running the current system, and we'll also phase in different modules of the proposed system as time goes on. Won't go through all of it, but basically we are implementing different modules such as the online order tracking system, the online order placement with certain select customers, and eventually getting to where we are phasing out of the old system entirely and using the new system. That's it. Thank you so much for watching, Professor Allen, and this concludes our presentation.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.